I want you to remember that your story right now is not a liability. It's actually your loudest credential that you can possibly have. Those seasons that you've survived, the ones you maybe are a little ashamed of, still embarrassed by, those are exactly the seasons that God is asking you to build on because He will restore the years. He repurposes the wounds that you have, those scars, right? And He turns that rock bottom floor moment into this strong foundation. And girl, I just want you to hear this directly from me, okay? You are not disqualified from the future because of your past. You're actually specifically equipped for it. And I believe your comeback is not behind you because I know one thing for certain, it's my favorite phrase, God is never late. Okay? And neither are you. You are right on time. You are right where God wants you to be. If you're tired of living in survival mode and questioning your worth and faith after divorce and want simple steps to heal, drop that shame and guilt, and rebuild your confidence, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Lori Ann, certified Christian life coach and midlife divorce mom of 2. I learned the secret of how to heal after divorce and rebuild my life through faith-based strategies that changed everything. And if you're ready to remember who you truly are, rediscover your purpose in midlife, love well again, and care for your body and soul, welcome to the club. You're in the right room. Hey girl, and welcome back to the Midlife Comeback Club podcast. I'm so glad you're here. And I appreciate you coming back every single week. We have new episodes that drop every Monday and Thursday every week. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do it now because we are just getting started and I don't want you to miss a single thing, especially with what we've been talking about lately. I'm hearing such great feedback from you guys about financial freedom because as I've said before, that's the one thing that all of you have kept saying to me, Lori Ann, I have done the healing. I have rediscovered who I am, and now I'm ready to launch my divine comeback, but I still don't have financial freedom. So I just want to ask you something. Have you ever really looked at your life? And I want you to really sit with this for a second, okay? Have you looked at your life, like all the hard parts, the painful, really difficult parts, and those seasons like that you barely survived and just thought, who would ever pay me for this? Like, who wants to hear about my divorce, right? Or who cares about the years that I spent fighting for my family while everything around me fell apart? What is so special about any of that? That I rebuilt from nothing? Like, who really cares? And girl, I want you to hear this from me today because what you just called your absolute disaster and mess, God has actually been calling that your message, believe it or not, this whole time. And today I'm going to show you exactly how He does it. And more importantly, how you can actually turn that message that's uniquely yours into a real, actual income producing coaching business. Whether you've thought about that before or this is completely a brand new concept, I really want you to hear that because not someday, not when you're more ready, now. Like He actually might be calling you to do that now. So stay with me, okay? But before we get into today's episode, I just want to take 1 second to tell you something. If you are a midlife Christian woman who has been through something, like anything, it could be divorce, right? You know, you're out there. It could be burnout just from your career or a career shift or a job loss, right? Just displacement in your own life. Like you're sitting somewhere now that you never thought you could be. Or it could be a major health crisis that's hit you. Or it could be extreme grief and loss. Like you've lost your spouse, you lost a parent, you've lost a child. It just could be the season that has completely brought you to your knees in midlife. And you feel like God is telling you that your story can actually help somebody else. I am building something specifically for you. And it's called Called to Coach, Built to Break Free. And it's going to live inside the Midlife Comeback Club, which is my annual group coaching mentorship for those of you who don't know. And we are talking like a full roadmap of turning your God-given story into an AI-powered coaching business behind the scenes in 90 minutes a day so that you can actually build the foundation for your new online coaching business, which is so amazing and will give you the freedom and more time to do exactly what you love, which is put God first, your family second, and spend time changing people's lives with your clients, that you'll have more time to do that because of these AI automated systems that you'll have in the back end. So I'm super excited. And if this is stirring something inside of you right now that I know a lot of you have told me that it is, I want you on my insider list, okay? Before the doors open. So I want you to go over to loriannfeely.com, LORIANN, F as in Frank, EELEY.com/insider and get on the list because you'll be the first to know when it's actually available. It's coming soon. I'll tell you that. So you'll be the first to hear about my VIP founding member pricing for this program, and you'll be the first inside. So definitely go check that out in the show notes. Okay. So today's episode is going to be good because I just think a lot of you are in this place. And I've been listening to you talk for many, many months, many, many years now. And the one thing that the women keep saying is that they've gone through the process of healing. They've rediscovered who they are, and now they're ready to launch their divine comeback, but they still don't have financial freedom. And I wanted to go first. I wanted to provide the roadmap so I could show you how I created this for myself. And now you can go out there and do the same thing. Because most of the women that I talk to who feel called to coaching, girl, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a very good chance that that is you. Most of them are sitting on the most powerful coaching credential in the world, and they don't even realize it. And they have absolutely just zero idea that they are. Instead, they're talking to me about waiting to get some sort of other certification they feel like they need, or they're waiting for their kids to get older before they'll really have the time to devote to starting their own business, or they're waiting until they feel, qualified enough. Or they're waiting until they have the right beautiful website with the right branding photos, the right everything. And all the while, God is sitting there going, honey, I already gave you everything that you need. What are you doing? And here's that lie that I think keeps you stuck is you're probably thinking, I'm not qualified to coach anyone. Or it could be the more spiritual version, right? That sounds more like God can't really use my story. It's way too dramatic, way too messy. It's too complicated. And more importantly, it's just embarrassing. And I just have to say that that is the enemy's favorite sentence because nothing will disqualify you faster from the life God is calling you toward than believing that the very thing he used to shape you is somehow too broken to be useful. That's not the truth. He is calling you from your mess for that to be your message because you're not some beginner at life. I know you're not. You're a midlife Christian woman sitting out there. You've got some wisdom under your belt, girl. You've got some life experience that could really help other people. I mean, yeah, you might be a beginner at business building, but that's learned skills that I can help you with. That's not something that should be holding you back. So that distinction, that's going to change everything for you. I mean, let me tell you where I was just a few years ago. I was a single divorced mom with my 2 little miracle babies that I talk about, with our dog, and we had nowhere to live. Like, we were essentially homeless, but my mom was kind enough to let us sleep on her living room floor for 9 months, which I find is so ironic with God, right? 9 months. It was like that 9-month period was like giving birth to my new self in 9 months. I call it my rebirth period. But I had no income. I had absolutely no plan, and I had no roadmap for how in the world I was going to move forward. And honestly, I just felt like my life was completely over. I felt like I had no future. And I truly believe that God was absolutely done with me because my life was such a mess. I had walked away from the version of my life that I had planned and thought was going to be my future. And I was lying on that floor at night with my kiddos asleep, my dog next to me, thinking, God, what was this all even for? How did I end up here? And I'm not being dramatic when I'm saying I cannot see a single faithful step forward. But I also want to tell you something else. Before all of that, before the floor, before I started to rebuild my life, before any of that, I was actually a singer, songwriter, musician many moons ago. And I had worked incredibly hard to build this music career for over a decade. That's what I did. And I actually got this huge opportunity one day to open up for Crystal Gale at BB King's Club in Manhattan. And the night before, there was going to be like this exclusive concert at Carnegie Hall where I was also going to perform. So I called everybody I knew. I thought, this is the big shot. This is the big chance for me to get the bigger record deal, right? So I called everyone I knew in the music industry. I lined up managers. I lined up the promoters. I got the record label execs. We're all going to be there to see this showcase that I was going to present with all my new material and all the new songs. And it was just going to be the thing, right? And this was finally going to be my opportunity to get that big record deal that I thought that I always wanted. But then suddenly at the last minute, about 2 weeks before, I got a call from the promoter saying, "We're so sorry, but unfortunately they decided to replace your slot with Winona Judd because she's going to be in town that week for one of her big concerts. I think she might have even been playing at Madison Square Garden. And so she needed a couple other smaller gigs, which were the ones I was booked for around that while she was going to be in the city." And the promoter obviously felt like Winona Judd was going to pull in more people for the shows than clearly I could, because everybody knows Winona Judd. And needless to say, not many people knew about who Lorianne was compared to her. So it was devastating. It was just like this one moment that I had built up in my mind that was going to be that one big chance. I've been singing on stage since I was 3. And this was going to be like my one big shot. I was making a living playing music and did very well for myself. But this was going to kind of be that show that was going to catapult me to the so-called next level. So there I was, like, I'm not going to be going to Carnegie Hall anymore. I'm not going to be performing at BB King's in Manhattan. God clearly had other plans, right? And here's what I know now that I cannot see then. Because every single thing that felt like a detour, like the music career that didn't happen the way I thought it should have, or the marriage that ended, the floor that I slept on for 9 months at my mom's, every single bit of that was actually God building my curriculum. My mess wasn't wasted. It was actually being authored by him. But could I see it then? No. Looking back, as Steve Jobs says, you can connect the dots. But as you're walking through it, most of the time, you don't connect those dots. And instead, you're devastated and wondering why your life is such a failure, when in reality, God is behind the scenes using all of that for good. So I want to bring in 2 scriptures here because I think they matter for exactly probably where you are right now. And the first one is Joel 2:25. God says, "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." And that's not some motivational quote. That's actually a covenant promise that he gives to us. So he's not saying, "I will help you forget the hard years." He's saying, "I will turn those years into something." Those exact years that you think are devastating, the ones you thought were wasted. The second one is Romans 8:28. I love this one, and you've probably heard it. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. All things, right? Not most things, not the comfortable things, not the things that make a nice Instagram caption. All things. The divorce, the layoff, the loss, the identity crisis you might be having at 47 that you still haven't told anyone about. All of it. God does not waste one single wound. And what I've learned and what I'm living proof of, I feel, is that the woman who has been through the most is often the most powerful coach in the room because she doesn't just teach from a textbook. She's teaching from the wounds and the scars. And that's what you really have to offer somebody. And you have the opportunity to change someone's life because of it. So here's what I want to give you today. The 3 things God does with your mess and how you can actually turn each one into the foundation of an online coaching business for yourself. So number 1, he turns survival into your specialty. And here's what I mean by that. Whatever season it is that broke you wide open, whether it is the divorce, whether it's the health crisis, whether it's the career burnout, the grief and the loss you've experienced, that is actually the season you understand at a cellular level. Like you've lived inside of that, girl. And you know what those 3 a.m. thoughts feel like because you had them. You know what the wrong advice sounds like because you were given that wrong advice. And you know what somebody actually needs to hear, most importantly, I think, when they're in the valley, when they're in the depths of despair. And that's not some liability. That's actually your expertise. And the woman who rebuilt after divorce isn't just relatable to other women going through a divorce. She is the most credible person in that room because she didn't study that experience from the outside like some coaches do. She survived it from the inside. And that is precious. I mean, that is super valuable to somebody. So I want you to ask yourself, what is the season I would never wish on anyone, but that I know more about than almost anyone I've ever met? That's your niche. That's going to be your specialty. And that is your curriculum, your living, breathing curriculum. So I just want you to start thinking about that. Number 2, he turns questions into your content. And this is a cool one, right? Because here's something that I find so fascinating. It's the questions that you ask God at the lowest points of your life. Those are the exact questions that your future clients are asking right now. They're out there wondering the same thing you were. The things that you Googled at midnight, the things you wish someone had just told you, the things you had to figure out the absolute hard way, probably, that you would love to just spare someone else from figuring it out the same way that you had to. That's your content library right there. You don't need to extract it from anywhere else except your own experience. Because every journal entry you probably put during that hardest season in your journal, right? That's gold. Every question you sat with, every breakthrough that you had that finally moved you forward, right? That's the good stuff. You already have years of content just sitting in there in your story. So you don't have to manufacture the wisdom like some coaches do because you lived it. And this is where everything really starts to get exciting and I get so passionate about because once you know your story and you know your message, the systems that I teach inside the Midlife Comeback Club help you take that content and scale it and systemize it and automate it without losing your voice or your heart or your stories in the process. And it's so magical. And I just can't wait to share it with you. But more than a motivational quote and a prayer journal, you deserve a real system that will turn your God-given story into the financial freedom that you're dreaming about. And it's totally possible. And I'm just so excited that we're moving into this new phase where I can help you do that. But number 3, He turns your transformation into someone else's permission slip. This is the one I want to leave you with, because when you share your story, that real version, that on the floor, can't get back up version, you're not just being vulnerable, you're actually giving somebody else the permission to believe that it's possible for them too. What a gift, right? To be able to help God's people in that way through your lived experience, because your comeback will become someone else's permission slip to do so. And that's the most powerful thing, and why I'm so passionate about coaching, because it's the most powerful thing that we can offer. It's not some framework. It's not just the certification. It's not the beautiful website. Sure, all those pieces, I will show you how to do that. But it's the living proof that you made it through something like that and built something on the other side of it. And when you turn your mess into your message, and you turn the message into a business, you're not just creating income for yourself, you're actually lighting a path for every woman who comes behind you. And how beautiful is that? And I don't consider that's not a side hustle. That's like a rebirth. That's like a second chance at life. And it starts with just saying yes to the calling that God placed in you before you even knew it was there. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. I want you to remember that your story right now is not a liability. It's actually your loudest credential that you can possibly have. Those seasons that you've survived, the ones you maybe are a little ashamed of, still embarrassed by, those are exactly the seasons that God is asking you to build on. Because He will restore the years. He repurposes the wounds that you have, those scars, right? And He turns that rock bottom floor moment into this strong foundation. And girl, I just want you to hear this directly from me, okay? You are not disqualified from the future because of your past. You're actually specifically equipped for it. And I believe your comeback is not behind you, because I know one thing for certain, it's my favorite phrase: God is never late. Okay? And neither are you. You are right on time. You are right where God wants you to be. So if this episode stirred something in your soul, and I really, really hope it did, I want to tell you again about what I'm building that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. It's called To Coach, Built to Break Free. It's my new program for midlife Christian women who are ready to turn their story into an online coaching business. And it's going to live inside the Midlife Comeback Club, which is currently my annual group coaching mentorship. And it's going to walk you step by step through building a complete AI-powered coaching business behind the scenes, so you can do what you do best, which is changing people's lives, and have more time for your clients, more time to help those people you are called to help, in just 90 minutes, focused minutes a day, to build the foundation of your business. So we're going to be talking about everything from finding your niche in your comeback story, because your story is, I believe, your strategy, all the way through launching your group coaching program, automating everything behind the scenes, your entire client experience, all of your content, and building the kind of business that actually creates the full life freedom that all of you have been saying that you want so desperately. And I'm here to tell you it is possible. And I have found the secret that unlocks all of that. We are in such an amazing time in this world right now, with the advent of AI and everything it can do for women as solopreneurs, or even if you just want to build a tiny team. It is amazing what is possible now. And I have been doing that myself with these operating systems behind the scenes. And it's just allowing you, instead of looking at AI as something to be fearful of, I want you to look at it as the thing that is going to catapult you and your business into the full life freedom that you really, really want. So this is going to be a business that you build, and this is not just a course that you watch and forget. It's not going to be like that. We're still going to do live weekly Q&A calls every single week, like I currently do now in the Midlife Comeback Club. but I will answer all your questions about building your business and all of the things that we walk through every week in the program. And we're not open yet. I know some of you have been asking, where can I sign up? Where can I get on this right now? But I have been building this in real time over the last several months to actually present to you, and using the exact same tools that I use, the exact same systems, the exact same 90 minutes a day to build the foundation of your business with AI that I'm going to teach you to use. So if you want to be the first to know when doors open, including the VIP founding member rate, which I will be offering, this will not come back around. This is going to be a one-time thing for the VIP founding member rate, and it'll be the lowest it'll ever be. I want you to go to loriamfeely.com/insider right now and get on my insider list, because I will definitely be letting you know when the program is going to be launching. So you can do that, LORIANN, F as in Frank, EELEY.com/insider, okay? And you can also take the free God-Given Gifts quiz that I have. It's down in the show notes. Click on the link. And if you're not sure yet what your coaching niche might be or what your story is actually built for, this is really going to help you. So that quiz is the place to start. This is going to help you go from, I've been meaning to start, to I am open for business. And that journey just starts with one little step. So I'm giving you the little step. All right. So I just want to thank you so much for being here with me today. And if this episode really spoke to something inside of you today, and if you have a story that feels more like a burden than a business at the moment, will you please send this episode to a girlfriend who needs to hear it too? Because someone in your life is probably sitting on a story they think is too messy for God to use. And this episode might be exactly the permission slip that she needs too. So I want to leave you with this today. Your mess was never the end of the story. It was God writing the beginning of the one He actually planned for you. And that floor is not going to be your final address. It's going to be the foundation for everything God is waiting for you to build. So until next time, I want you to keep putting God first, family second, and trust that the systems are coming. And I will catch you back here for the very next episode. God is never late. Thanks for listening. Hey girl, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a woman who might really need it right now? Also, please leave me a quick review over on Apple Podcasts. It truly helps this show reach more women who are ready for their divine comeback. And until next time, keep choosing faith over fear, and I will meet you back here next week for another episode.